Well, good morning, everybody. It is Friday. The kids are off school. We have to take them out of school for the day. It's already been cleared with the teachers. It's my birthday on Sunday, so Hazel decided to take me away for a night, even though I'm sort of injured and still a bit incapacitated. Sadly, the kids have got to come as well, as Hazel says. But I can still hobble around with the best intent. So they're taking me today to York, favourite place. So we're going to go to York. We have a little look around York. And there's also a place of historical interest that I want to. York is historical interest, but it's also paranormal, very, very haunted. Possibly outside of Cornwall, probably the most haunted place in the UK, if not even more so. I don't know, but it's definitely a toss-up between the two. But yeah, anyway, so we're on our way to York. We're gonna have fun. We've went with the best intentions, as all families do. Wanted to start really early. Wanted to start at around about sort of 7:30, 7 o'clock really. But it's 8:15 and yeah. You know what they're like trying to get ready. They need to take a whole ton of stuff with them one night. So yeah, it is only one night we're going for. It's just to get there, just walk around the town. I didn't say a word.
Yes, you did.
So, we're on our way to York. We're going to have lots of fun, aren't we? You love York, don't you? Yeah, you love York, so Willow's looking forward to it. Fox is looking forward to it. Fox, you love York, don't you? Fox, for some reason, is sitting right at the back. He wants to be right at the back. I have no idea. I think it was Willow's idea initially, but Fox jumped on it, and then all of a sudden, it's not good enough for Willow in the back now because Fox is there, and you know it's just kids are like. They don't wind each other up. So now we're sort of eventually on our way to York. I think that face says it all, doesn't it? I think that face just did everything. It says everything, that face. So when we get to York, we will have fun. It might be false where the kids are concerned, but we're going to have fun. And I'm going to potter about a bit. I am still, as I say, slightly incapacitated, but it's not going to stop me from videoing and hobbling
around the walls we're going to do, aren't we?
Yeah. Hobble all the way around the walls. I don't know, we'll see. But you know me, I'm about to fall off the wall. You know what I'm like. You know, about to fall off the wall. So next time you see me, it'll either be before we try and hobble up the wall or after, when I've got another sort of plaster on the other leg. And yeah, well, I've got one of them great plaster casts from the neck down, like you see in the comedies. So anyway, we're going to York. See you when we get there. Right, so after much deliberation and drama, we find ourselves still en route.
We've had a fairly full and frank discussion.
We've had a couple of full and frank discussions. I was very bad and I got told off. We all had a falling out on the way, as you generally do when you're a family in a car and you're trapped in this little sardine can for at least 3 hours. And yeah, now we're stuck in traffic. So what we decided to do, as it's my birthday weekend, and Hazel's treating me to this, we've extended it by one night. It's increased the cost quite a bit, considerably, but never mind. You get one life, as they say, making the most of it. So we've booked another night, so we're not just here for Saturday now, are we? We're here on
Friday,
or Friday rather. It's Friday.
And
We're here tonight and tomorrow night, so we then go home Sunday.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah, we just need to get some underwear.
We were going home Sunday anyway, weren't we?
No, we're going home Saturday. It's Friday today, not Saturday.
I'm losing track of what days we've got. Oh, right, so yeah, okay. So we'd have been going home tomorrow night. Yes, tomorrow night? But anyway, we've got an extra night.
Tomorrow,
means we've got an extra day. So we're going to just decided to get up a bit earlier on the Sunday and go back into York. And so what we're going to do first of all, because it's 11:45, it's not that late, but the traffic is horrendous. And we're stuck, we're stuck in the little A road, aren't we?
I don't know what we're stuck. The A road's closed, so we're stuck here.
Stuck here. So anyway, we're just gonna sort of
from the pub.
get through this,
1 o'clock at the pub.
chip away at this, and go to the pub, watch him. Jeez.
Why are you waving?
What a moron.
Yeah, stupid.
Oh, fancy, people open the doors when you're driving past, and there's a lorry on the other side. Bloody idiots. Yeah, so we're on our way now. So we've got a different hotel booked because the one that we had originally booked was fully booked for the weekend. Do you know what? It's a palaver. It's been a palaver. What a palaver. But it's sorted now, and you don't need to know about the semantics because it is just that, semantics. So we'll speak to you when we get there. Right, so we're in North Yorkshire now. And we've actually come to the Crooked Billet. We've been here a few times. It's absolutely a lovely pub. The food's great and the beer is to die for. Now, as I say, we're in the village of Saxton in North Yorkshire, and it's quite, they are, and it's historically an amazing place, as is all of England, but this in particular, because the bloodiest battle that was ever fought on British soil was actually fought here, and it was in 1461. It was during the War of the Roses. And they say that there was between 50 to 60,000 men that turned up on the day of the battle, soldiers. And by the end of the day, it was a 10-hour battle. And by the end of the day, at least 28,000 laid either dead or dying. And this is the place. This is the place. And it was a really decisive battle because it was during the War of the Roses. It was a turning point. And this is where the Lancastrians and the Yorks fought it out, and the Yorks were successful. At the time, it was a Lancastrian king on the throne. It was Henry VI, and he was deposed by Edward, who was, I think it was Earl of, I can't remember who he was Earl of, but he was deposed by Edward, and it was the changeover of kings, and it was the changeover of the houses, so it became the loss for the Lancastrians and the decisive win for the Yorkists. So I'll just turn you around a minute and we'll have a look here and see. You can see the fields where it was all played out. And as I say, the bloodiest battle in English history, or British history actually, on British soil. Please excuse the cars going past. But this is it. This is the scene of it, all here. This was one massive battlefield. Now you may think, oh, 50, 60,000 men, that's not a lot. How can that be what's considered a really bloody battle? But at the time, you have to remember that, yes, there things like the First War and Second World War, things like the Somme, there was a bigger loss of life during that and in a shorter period. But at the time that we're talking about, 1461, you're actually talking about a time period where England was very sparse. It wasn't as populated as it is today, not by any stretch of the imagination was it anywhere as crowded as it is today. And so if you take that into proportion, you can see that, you know, the amount of men, that was an awful lot of people for that period. So look at that. Amazing. So I'm really excited to be here today, not just for the pub and for the pub lunch, but also for the actual battlefield itself, because I've always wanted to do a little bit of a vlog here. I'll give a little bit of the history of it because, you know, I'm really passionate about history. Particularly our history, English history or British history, and this is just a great place to start doing that. So we're going to go in for lunch in a minute, and I'll see you in a little bit. So that actual little church there, little chapel, it's been here since the medieval period, 1461. It was here during the battle. And it was owned by a particular family of the area. And just give you a little bit of an idea, the Battle of Towton in 1461. So if you want to stop that and zoom in on it, it's a very interesting piece of history. I do love these history boards that they put around, fantastic. So as I say, this was the site of an Anglo-Saxon village. And over the years, it's sort of a whole town more or less sprung up over it, or a whole village, and this would have been it. There would have been a manor house here. In fact, that church is all that remains now. But this is, the battle would have just raged around here. And of course the battles that we know of now are nothing like the battles then. You know, there was swathing swords and there was long bows, and of course the damage that was done to the skeletons that were excavated, you could see that it was just unfathomable. If you take like long swords chopping away and just hacking at people, and lots of different blunt instruments, and they noticed that a lot of the bodies that they found, and they particularly found one pit when they were doing an extension on a house, and the bodies that they found from this battle had just several head injuries each, and we're not talking about slight head injuries, we're talking about them being completely battered. I mean, it's terrifying, isn't it? It's just completely barbaric. But that's the way it was in those days. So here we are at the little church behind me. As you can see what's left of what was a thriving village. And we're going to go inside and have a look at this medieval church. Wonderful. The old foot scraper. The old baptismal font, eh? God, just look at the age on these pews. York and Lancastrian rows up there. Just beautiful. Look at the age of. These are the tops of sarcophagus, ancient ones. Just beautiful. Look at the rafters. Pulpit. Look at these seats. Just look at this. The age. It's worn. The bones that have sat on these throughout the years, throughout the centuries, and have left that indelible mark. More graves down there. Let's go inside here. Have a little look. Just wonderful. You imagine the services and the locals all coming here. The congregation all knowing each other, all working in the fields together. And that's over several hundred years. I do often wonder, as is the case with a lot of these places, are some of the families from the original settlers still here? It's like when you go around a village in England or anywhere really in sort of Britain, and I'm sure it's the same on the continent. A lot of these villages had the same families there for years and years and years, and you see a drop down in the Victorian period, sort of mid to late 19th century. And the reason you see a lot of the drop in names is because, or the cut off in names, is because the Industrial Revolution and things like the railways, they made it more accessible for people to leave the villages. And of course, with the advent of railways, cities built up, they became more industrial. There wasn't so much work on the land for the people. And what happened is that they moved away to the cities. And that was the end of a lot of the families that lived in these villages for millennia. Although I'm sure a lot of these villages still have some of the old guard, the old families in them. I know my family that come from the West Country, and they settled about 500 years, 600 years ago in Portland. From Devon as well, and Cornwall. There's still a lot of the Winters there that are actually my direct relatives. So I'm sure there's still a lot of villages and small little hamlets that have got some of the original families incumbent. But it's just amazing. This is the thing, isn't it? This is the thing. It's about the personal history. It's about social history of families, of individuals, and how their lives would have played out in this environment. And it's cold here today. It's freezing, in fact. But we're just visiting. Imagine if you'd 400, 500, 600 years ago, you lived here, and it would have been a much, much more harsher environment. So I can't even speak properly, my mouth is so cold. But it would have been a much harsher environment, and it would have been, to eke out a living, it would have been eking out a living. You know, you would have had to have been a serf or a villain or something along those lines. And of course, these churches were built by the lords of the gentry at the time, which would have probably been, in its first incarnation, it would have been Norman, I'm guessing. So they would have been French invaders at the time. But I digress. Just look at this church. It's just, you don't want to hear me. You want to look at the church. It's beautiful. Oh, Padre Fox, local vicar of this parish. And Padre Winters. Padre Willow, or Vicar Willow.
Hi,
Hello,
welcome
thank you.
to today's church session.
Today's church lesson.
Session.
See, you can't even do it, can you? It's cold. Hungry and cold. What is it? What are we going to talk about today?
We're going to do good and also do district.
Distribute, forget not, for with such sacrifices God is well pleased.
Yeah, that.
Was it a Heb? I forget what that means. The 13-year of, I think it's 16 something. Well, that was an amazing sermon. Thank you ever so much.
Before you go, I'll let you sign the book over there.
Yeah, I can't. But I can't, you see, because this is the 1500s and all I can do is make a cross.
Godliness
I can't
is gained if a man is content with what he has.
This is true.
For we brought nothing into the world, nor will we carry anything
That
out.
is true.
Below. Be content with what you have.
You see.
Not wanting more stuff.
And as my dad used to say, and I think it was a line from Dickens, or I'm guessing that's where he got it, was Scrooge, the richest man in the graveyard.
To be or not to be, that is the criteria.
Oh, Shakespeare today. Right, we're going to crack on now because it's freezing. We need some lunch.
Are we going to have some lunch?
Do you not want some lunch?
Yeah. The real question is why.
Let's go.
I don't know. The real question is
Don't lock her in.
who's going to pay for lunch?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems going to be me, innit?
Can I get sausages?
Yes, you can. Let's go. So there's our next point of interest, the Crooked Billet pub for lunch.
You've vlogged there before.
I have. We've been there a couple of times, haven't we? A few times. It's one of our favourites, isn't it?
In fact, you said if you want a really nice lunch, go to the Christmas.
Well, I've said it again. Oh, I didn't vaguely remember that.
Nice house, there we go.
So, off to the Crooked Billet for lunch. Big Yorkshire pudding and filling, I think.
Very, very, very cool.
There you go. We are ready for it. Right. I promise you guys, I have been on a diet. I'm watching what I'm eating. I've lost a chunk of weight, which is good. But you know what? It's my birthday weekend, and I'm just going to have a bit of a treat and a blowout in here. So, see you in a bit. Get a load of that. Nice pint of Theakston. Mission accomplished. Just went for tea now, or lunch rather. In fact, if you think that's good, that's even more exciting. That's it, I've lined them up. It's my birthday Sunday, so I've lined them up as a treat to myself. Look at that, that's an awful lot of food there, isn't it? That is the Yorkshire pudding, traditional Yorkshire pudding in the heart of North Yorkshire. Lots of veg. Lovely. The family have never been so quiet. Never been so quiet. What did you have? The triple? What did you? Oh, it's disgusting. What did you have? The triple one? Triple dessert? Very nice. And me and Paul Willow, we couldn't afford anything else. They had the lion's share. Hello. Is yours nice? Really nice. It looks lovely.
Yeah.
What's left of it? You really made
The
a.
only thing I don't like about it is it's a bit.
Is it what?
It's a bit warm.
A bit warm. It's meant to be warm, isn't it?
It feels like lobster
Lovely. Look at that. Lovely. Don't worry, we're not the people that want to show our food to everybody, even though we're doing it now. Right, see you in a bit.
You told me I'd be a bitch.
What I forgot to mention about this place is that the battle was, as I said, it was fought over 10 hours, but it was actually fought in a blizzard, in a snowstorm. So imagine how tiring and how exhausting that must have been. It must have been horrendous. But anyway, we're going to move away from the thought of the battle now, and we're going to move on to nicer thoughts. And that, again, we've been in there a couple of times into the Crooked Billet and in Saxton, and I've never been disappointed. Have you been disappointed ever?
That was lovely.
The food in there is amazing. Now, we went online and we looked up some of the reviews. More Hazel than I, because she's very much, I don't know who's sexist, but I think it's a woman thing. Having the foresight and the intelligence to check forward. And I noticed when I looked at it, there were a couple of little, I suppose, there are a couple of people that weren't exactly enamoured with the place. I don't know why, but I've certainly had no complaints. And the majority, I would say 99% of the reviews were of a positive nature, so that was good. But as you saw, I had the Yorkshire pudding and beef with, I also had the vegetables in there. I could have had potato, but, you know, trying to steer away from that a bit. And it was it just didn't disappoint. It was amazing. What about yours, Hazel?
Beautiful. I had the same as you. It was very
Oh, of
nice.
course you had. Yeah, but what did
Yeah.
you think of it?
I tell you what, I thought that the outside of it was a tiny bit greasy. But the inside
These are the type of people who put bad reviews on. Pickety people.
Pernickety.
Pickety,
Fussy, pernickety
Fussity,
people.
pernickety people.
Yeah. I wouldn't put a bad review on
But
it.
that was amazing, wasn't
The
it, though?
desserts were gorgeous.
And of course, you had the triple dessert. What was the dessert? It was
It was sticky toffee pudding.
sticky toffee pudding. Was it an ice cream?
Yeah, it was vanilla. I thought it was banana, but it wasn't.
Oh, it was nice.
vanilla.
Yeah.
And then it was a berry full.
Yeah, that was quite a lot of food there, wasn't there, in the
and
dessert?
then a couple of little profiteroles, which were very nice.
And she finished the whole lot.
I did.
But she didn't
Oh,
eat.
shut
She didn't eat her main course, which was bad. You know, you're trying to set an example for children.
It was.
You cannot have dessert unless you eat your main course.
No, that's bad. No, you don't do that, do you? It's food. Food is food.
Well, it was done when I was a kid. Do you know what? I'm of a different age. I'm of an age where if you don't eat it tonight, you're going to get it served up in the morning. And no, you're not having dessert until you've eaten your main course. Maybe that's unfortunately why I'm so fat.
Maybe.
It might have been to do with that, but I'm working on it. And I have lost a couple of stone, believe it or not, which I'm very happy to say. Now, Willow, what did you have? Did you enjoy your food?
Yeah, it was so nice. I had chicken bites and chips.
You did. You had the chicken bites, and that was proper chicken as well, wasn't it?
So nice.
That wasn't your rubbish. Some real chips, really good chips. And Fox, what did you have?
Shouldn't have brought the dogs.
I had chocolate pie.
No, your main course. What was it?
I had a roast dinner.
Not really.
What do you know?
You had
You had Yorkshire pudding and pigs in blankets, didn't
Pigs
you?
in blankets and some carrots.
Yorkshire pudding with pigs in
And did you like it?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's all bumpy here, guys.
You
We're up
ate
and
a
down,
lot.
up and down, up and down. He ate a lot, and I'll tell you what, you know, our kids are. I can't say they were fussy, but they are. I can't say they're fussy, but they. Oh, excuse
Right,
me.
Kevin, you're right.
Back in a second. Sorry about that interruption, but the thing is that our children, they're quite. Fox not so bad, is he, with his food? He's pretty good with he'll eat a sort of normal food, healthy food. Whereas Willow and Fox to a degree will only eat. They will eat rubbish like all kids if you let them. Nuggets and chips. But they polish that food off, and you know, good, healthy, reasonably priced.
You said you had some.
Fine. I had a couple of pints, didn't I? So it was good. It was good. It was very, very good, and I highly recommend it. If you ever find yourself in North Yorkshire, make what? I've said it before, and at the expense of repeating myself, if you ever find yourself in North Yorkshire, make your way to the what's it called? Crooked Billet. Make your way to the Crooked Billet and make your way in there for a meal because it's amazing and it's reasonably priced and the food is amazing. What do you recommend that?
Yes, it was lovely.
Big thumbs up?
Yes, massive.
Big thumbs up. Massive thumbs up.
My thumbs up if I was at 2.
Right, I'm going to leave that there today because it's getting late. We're obviously arriving at York somewhat later than we anticipated due to the bickering and Hazel's just
Detour
being
to
naughty. And the detour, we got stuck. Oh, I'm not going to go into it, but suffice to say, we're getting there quite late. It's now 3:30 and we've still not arrived.
We left home at 8 o'clock this morning.
We left home Wednesday. No, we left home at 8 o'clock this morning.
5.5 hours.
But it's been alright. It's been an adventure.
It's been
Not necessarily a good one, but it's been an adventure. Eventful, that's perfect description. So we'll speak to you a little bit later. That's it for the day. See you later. Say see you later. Hazel.
Bye, sorry.
See you later. Bye.
Peace. Peace.